Yeah, let me know because I'm gonna restart it.
Let me know, Milt. I think we good. It says you're alive.
Okay.
You haven't got anything on the phone yet, Milt?
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we back up. Your screen black? What's the screen looking like?
No, you on the screen right now.
No.
You on the screen right now.
Nah, then I'm not up.
I can see you now.
Okay, you see me now?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. We might be right.
And I see Mark.
Okay.
Is that the fighter?
I see the numbers coming in now, so yeah, we back live. All right, guys. We had to try to refresh everything. We was having some problems with the stream, the live stream. So now we could get it back in. Once again, man, for everybody just tuning in, we got undefeated prospect Anthony Marsella in the building. So yeah, man, that's what it is. Now, Anthony, we was talking about all this stuff. I wanted to also ask you about the Keith Thurman situation, man, since I got you in the studio. So Keith Thurman, you know, Errol Spence, he's been calling out Keith Thurman for 2 years. And now Keith Thurman, he just recently said a whole lot of stuff. He said, you know, right now he wants to make sure he, you know, make sure that the elbow, is it the elbow injury?
Yeah, the elbow.
He want to make sure the elbow is good, and he's thinking about coming back fighting Devin Alexander. But then he said, even after that, he said, I'm not planning on fighting Errol Spence anytime in the future, in the near future. Yeah, he said he's not on my to-do list, is what he actually said.
I seen him talking about the organizations too, saying it's because the mandatories and whatnot.
Yeah, he said, you know, he has a lot of mandatories, so that fight, he said that fight realistically may not happen to 2019. But the thing is, Errol Spence is a champion as well. So, you know, he has well, your take on the whole situation.
My take, it sounds like a lot of excuses.
It sounds like a lot of excuses. That's what it sounds like. I mean, okay. 2019 full of mandatories. You gonna fight mandatories all the way to 2019?
Mandatory king.
I mean, and once again, it's no diss towards Thurman, but
I
you
like
know,
Thurman a lot.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. You know, he's not. I mean, actually, believe it or not, he is pretty out. I was gonna say he's not outspoken, but he does it in like a humble way. You know what I mean? But I like Thurman a lot. But I think what it kind of comes down to is business, unfortunately. You know, boxing business is kind of hurting the sport a little bit.
But go ahead, Milt.
But I'll tell you this, you know, I think that, and I understand people got to try to make as much money in this game as possible while you're still viable.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and sometimes some people's teams direct their careers in a way that it's going to go, and they tell them, hold on, man, not yet for that fight.
Yeah.
But there's a way he could say this without coming off like, I don't, this is not something I really look forward to doing.
Like you said, he need a publicist.
He need a publicist or a PR man or something.
Yeah.
Because every time he opens his mouth, man, it makes it look like he is ducking the hell out of Errol Spence. And it is not good. It's not good for the sport. It's not good for, I mean, to at least be hyping it up. You know what I mean? If he was like, yeah, I'm ready for him. It's just as soon as I get this elbow right, I'm whooping his ass. You know what I mean? But it ain't none of that coming out of there. It is all, you know, well, the only other side of the thing is, you know, the thing. I'm like, man, come on, he sound like a pimp trying to get chose. You know, you know, you see that too. You see that, you know, you don't let all the dime pieces get out of the club. And around about 3 o'clock in the morning, you see that too walking by. You go in there, put it in the bed. He sounds horrible, man. Yeah. He needs to have somebody tell him, hey, Keith, you're not sounding good on this.
That's the thing. He's not sounding. I mean, because there's no reason for you to say, because this is what Keith Thurman said out of his own mouth. He said, Errol Spence told me he was ready. Well, guess what? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. You just don't say something like that. I mean, and once again, now it's one thing if he said, I'm not ready, in terms of my next fight. Let me make sure the elbow is right. Now, if you say that, that makes sense.
Right.
But if you say I'm not ready and I'm not even thinking about Errol Spence in the near future,
right?
That's the thing that was kind of like, what do you mean you're not thinking about in the near future?
Right.
That doesn't make sense right there. Come on,
Keith. And, and Keith, listen, if you're out there listening, Keith, and Terminators alike, listen, we have high hopes for Keith Thurman. We appreciate that young man and the talent that he possesses. So for him not to be anxious to make this fight. And then one of the things that he said was, I'm the only guy, you know, that's unified right now. I'm like, well, there's a reason. You won't fight somebody else to try to, you know what I mean? If you got the opportunity, give somebody else the opportunity.
And listen to what you, go ahead, Kurt.
I was going to say he sounds content, like a content kid.
Right, right. I'm satisfied.
And if that
used to be the guy, he was the guy a couple of years ago, one of the many guys that was calling out Floyd Mayweather because he wanted, you know, the spoils from that victory or from that matchup. He wanted the payday.
You know,
right.
Lottery ticket.
And to get the money, of course, and then if he were to win, to get the recognition that comes with it. And it's like we have, 2 years later, a guy like Errol Spence who's up and coming and who's now a champion and established. He's trying to, establish himself as one of the best, if not the best, in boxing. And Keith's kind of like, well, I got my 2 titles. Like,
right, yeah.
What else do I have to do?
Sorry.
Like, I don't want to necessarily go out there and fight the best if I don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Jimmy J. Smooth, I'm gonna bring you back since we were having stream issues before, man. So your whole take on the whole Keith Thurman, Errol Spence situation. My man called in, Jimmy J. Smooth.
We need to call our boy Keith Thurman. Keith, wrong time Thurman, man.
He said wrong time.
The wrong time to be ducking Errol Spence right about now, man. Come on.
He said Keith, wrong time. Oh man. Hey man. Once again, man. This is a hole that Keith Thurman, dug.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So once he didn't need none of our help.
None.
All we doing is reading and quoting what he's reciting what he's saying.
And my granddaddy used to say, man, if you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. And he just keeps digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. You know what I mean? He needs to make a statement, that's going to let people know, hey, I anxiously want this fight. This is the fight I want, and I'm hoping to get it as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like,
even if you don't want it, you got to.
yeah. If you don't want it,
save yourself.
I know.
We've seen this coming because even before Errol Spence got a belt, Keith was telling him, like, you need to get a belt first before I even consider you.
Oh,
really.
yeah,
like,
right. Exactly.
Run out of excuses.
Right.
The sit-down interview a couple months back, you can tell in Keith Thurman's body language, like, I don't want to fight this guy. And Earl's looking at him like he's dinner. Like, I want this fight. You can just with the body language that Keith doesn't want those problems.
I mean, the fact that I interviewed Keith Thurman in 2015, which I just, re-uploaded that video because I put it together with some of the stuff he's been saying today. The fact that he said in that interview, the boy would be ready around 2017. He said, I say about 2017 with a quarter on it. He said, have the boy fight some people, have him fight some good names and this and that. And now you fast forward to 2017 going into 2018, and now he's saying that, Errol Spence, I'm not going to be ready to fight him for at least 2019. He said maybe 2019. But, my whole thing as well is, Anthony, if you are a champion in that division, should you be able to just hold that belt like that all the way to 2019, 2020 if you're not going to defend it against everyone?
That's something I was just thinking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hold on, Jimmy. Let me ask Anthony real quick his thoughts on it. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, because you want to talk about mandatories and whatnot. What belt did Errol just win?
IBF.
Errol just won the IBF belt.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and they're both at welterweight.
They're both so he has the IBF.
And Keith is
WBA and WBC.
Mm-hmm. What is Errol ranked?
I mean, he's a champion.
Well, he's a champion, so
you know what I mean? Like,
I know they won't make him as mandatory. The WBC mandatory is Sean Sean Porter. And I think the WBA
Peterson was
he was the regular.
Yeah.
But he's going to fight Spence.
Errol Spence.
He's going to fight Spence in January. So I mean, and who else is out there? Who's the WBO?
Who is the WBO? The one that just beat Pacquiao, Horn.
Oh yeah, Horn.
Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
Jeff Horn.
And he gonna nurse that. Yeah. He gonna nurse that strap, man, like a newborn baby.
Yeah.
He gonna latch on to the titty, man, and ain't gonna let that thing. He gonna nurse it and
now,
well, you know they say Terrence Crawford is supposed to be. He's supposed to be fighting Terrence Crawford.
That's what I was about to say. Terrence is supposed to be his manager. Oh well, the winner of Jeff Horn against I forget dude's name.
This dude's name.
If you guys remember in the comment section, let me know. But yeah, it's not a big name. It was a voluntary defense on Horn's part.
Right.
So, but the winner of that fight, they have to fight against Terrence Crawford. So, but yeah, man.
My point being is, he's the other champion. He's one of the other champions. For what reason?
For what reason?
There's only one reason. There's only one reason.
Right?
You know what I mean? There's only one reason.
Hey man, kings fight kings.
That's
I hate to throw it out there like Wilder said it, but
peasants. They
don't
fight peasants, is what he said.
Hey, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cochran, that's the name. Good looking Coach Sheldon. It was Cochran.
Sheldon,
Horn versus Cochran. Yeah, so the winner of Horn versus Cochran, they have to see that boy Terrence Crawford for that WBO strap. So we'll see, man. But anyway, once again, for everybody tuning in, you guys are listening to Anthony Marsella in the studio, in the building. He trains at the Mayweather Gym, work with everybody. Let them know once again, man, for everybody just tuning in, the fight you have coming up. If people want to actually tune in live, is it going to be telecast?
December 7th. The fight's in Providence, Rhode Island, Twin River Casino. But it will be on. It's gonna be streamed on Fight Night Live.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I've heard of them, but I think they do it through Facebook. But they get a lot of traction. They do well.
Oh yeah, the streams are taking over right now, man. I mean, we're starting to get a lot of cool stream shows. They streamed the fight card that I covered in Mexico, where Dwayne Beeman, he fought out there. Robert Garcia had a whole bunch of his prospects out there. It was a good turnout, and it was a pay-per-view for like $2.99 a stream.
I was gonna say, actually, I mean, this whole streaming thing. I'm working on some things on my own too.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up.
That's what it is.
Like I said, I got a good understanding of this business, and I was gonna touch on that with the whole Keith subject. I think that could be. I mean, I know that's part of the problem. You know what I mean?
Of course.
They want to maximize the profits. You know what I mean?
Of course.
To maximize that.
But if you beat Errol Spence, do you?
Oh yeah, no, forget about it. But the risk is high.
But if you lose to Errol Spence,
that's right.
Is the other part of that question.
I know, right?
They rather let's make as much money. Let's maximize the earning potential on the Sean Porter rematch. Let's fight, whoever the mandatories are. I don't know if it'll even sell.
Just Sean Porter. I
think it'll come down to how he performs on the Sean Porter rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that'll change the discussion a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you said, trying to maximize and risk versus reward. Keith Thurman says something that was really interesting. Speaking on all of this, what we're talking about right now. He said, the effects of losing. He was talking about, when you lose, it kind of knocks you down, to where you have to. It takes you a minute. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he was pretty much saying. It pushes you back to the back of the line, is what he was trying to say.
Right.
So him even volunteering that information, no one even asked him about, losing and winning and the effects of it.
Right.
He just started talking about that. So that kind of speaks on what you just said, Anthony.
That's a little suspect that's even crossing.
A little
his
TMI.
Mind. That's even crossing his mind. I don't think that's a good state of mind to be in as a fighter for sure. But I mean, it could be again his man. I mean, he's with Heyman, and they know, all right, if we're to maximize the potential, that fight's definitely gonna do numbers. The Sean Porter rematch, but then all his mandatories and whatnot, him himself, he's not gonna make as much money in those mandatories if he takes an L to Spence. So let's knock these out the way, collect some checks, and then we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and then if we get all of these checks and lose Spence, then we could say, okay, well, we racked up the money, so it wasn't that much of a loss.
Yep.
But see, the thing though with Al Heyman, and this is why I keep telling people, with Al Heyman fighters, I believe that Al Heyman, he structures things more like the NBA to NFL, where a team can lose this week. They come back the very next week, play against another team.
He'll put you back in. Put me back in, coach.
Adrian Broner lost to Sean Porter, came right back, fought for a title against Oliver Diaz.
Right.
And made $1 million.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So I think Al is really telling me and advising him, because he's an advisor. I think he's really telling them, look, just take the fight, Broner. I know Sean Porter is bigger, and I know this, but listen, don't worry about losing. We're going to bring you back. I think Al is one of the only advisors / promoters that's telling fighters that, because everyone else, they do take somewhat of a hit, you know, if they take a big L, especially if they get knocked out.
Check this out, though, and you have an even better example than Sean Porter. He lost his IBF strap. He gets a shot at Keith Thurman.
That's right.
Then loses to Keith Thurman, come back, take 2 more get-right fights for Berto, then my man last month. Granados. And then now it's back in line again for a shot.
That's excellent.
You know what I'm saying? For a rematch. So he'll have an opportunity to get back in there. I mean, with all of them are Al Heyman fighters, so he's gonna put them in a position to win. You know what I mean? So I mean, that shouldn't have even been a topic of conversation.
That's a great point. So I mean,
another thing too, you know, and that's why I can't understand what's up with Adonis Stevenson. And I'm gonna speak on it for Reginald Owens, who put it out there. Man, he's been nursing that strap for a minute now. He hasn't fought another champion. He hasn't fought. I mean, I appreciate the skills the man brings to the table. But I'm talking about he calling himself the king. He got to dethrone another king or either fight another king in order to call yourself the king, man. Come on. I mean, there's too many. He needs to get himself in the mix. He has to, man. And then the thing is, like I said, if he were to lose, I do believe that Al would probably put him in another position. But I know age is a factor as well, too. So
absolutely. And you know what, man? We had these cats on hold for a while. Let me go ahead and take another call real quick. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, my man, Jimmy J. Smooth, man. All right, man?
All right, brother.
All right, man. All right. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for calling in, fam. So let's go ahead and take another call real quick. We have 281. What's going on, man? What's your name and where you calling from, fam?
What's going on, man? My name Ron.
What's going on? Where you calling from, Ron?
Oh, I'm calling from Houston. Oh, I really wanted to highlight the panels out there.
Okay, go ahead.
Fight.
Have at it.
And I was talking about my point of view why I thought he was gonna beat Luther, and everybody on the panel, they at the end of the conversation.
Yeah, I remember, bro. I remember, man.
Wait, is that you and somebody else? Also saying the same thing about. I thought somebody in the background was like, no. I was the one that really get the credit for it. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was just saying I wanted to hear from the panel, man, because everybody just was saying that losing, you know, they had picked them, they had them favorite, and well, I had just seen something about by Curtis Stevens talking about calling out any one of the Charlos, and I just feel like he's trying to retire this year.
Curtis Stevens. You said you heard Curtis Stevens call out one of the Charlos. Is that what you said?
Both of them. He said anyone. He'll go down to 154. He'll fight Jamal at 160, and I don't understand why he's trying to do that.
Jamal
got knocked out by Lemieux.
Jamal would whoop his ass on the way to a fight. He'll stop off. He would stop off. He would stop off, whoop his ass, and then go to the arena. That is not a fight, man.
It's not even worth.
If we're gonna talk about Charlo, can we please talk about Demetrius Andrade?
Yeah, man, there you go. That's
a name to be talked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not talked about enough. I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's from my hometown, but.
That's right. He is from your hometown.
We're not even that close. You know what I mean? I can't say that we talk regular. You know, we don't train at the same gym, nothing. But I mean, you got to respect him. I mean, he's an Olympian. He's an Olympian. He's a world champion.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to fight him.
Nobody wants to fight him. But now he moved up to the middleweight division, So something got to give. I mean, you got the Charlos or Jamal. You got Andre. You got Canelo, Golovkin, and Danny Jacobs. You know, so I think eventually, you know, somebody is going to have to get in the ring with Demetrius Andrade. But I think, but to me, I mean, it's a couple, Anthony, though. I mean, with Charlo, who's the most dangerous right now in that middleweight? I mean, you got all the names I just mentioned: Charlo, Jacobs, Golovkin, Canelo. Who's the most dangerous right now, or top 2, top 3?
I mean, outside of that, even I mean, I just want to see the Charlo one.
The Charlo Andre,
just because of the beef, you know what I mean?
Because of the beef,
you know, the controversy sells, and I think maybe they gotta let it build a little bit, because I think that's part of the problem is Boo Boo's following. I don't think, you know, they don't think it's gonna do the numbers that it should yet. But I mean, as far as the fight goes, I mean, that's the fans want to see the fight. You know, they don't care how much money everybody's making. But I know on the back end, that's what the problem is with every situation we've talked about. But as far as the fight goes, I mean, what do you think? Who do you think wins? What's your prediction?
Oh man, you talking about Andrade and Charlo?
Yeah.
Oh man,
what do the fans think?
You know, let me ask what the fans think on that. What about you? I'll go ahead and let you speak on that one.
Tough one, man.
That's a hard one to call right now.
And
that's a hard one to call.
I think I give Charlo the edge in power, but I give Andre the speed. Man, that's a tough one.
I will say, I think Andrade is probably the most complete fighter, though.
He is.
I think out of everybody at 160,
he doesn't have crush you type power, but the thing is, he hits you with so many clean shots, and his hand speed is so quick.
And his ability to adjust,
he can get you out
any different type of style.
He is
from the real.
I agree.
What's going on, my man? Money. We finally got.
I thought I heard him whispering.
Man, what's happening, fellas? What's happening now?
Money Pow in the building. Once again, this is the man with the golden voice, and his son is one of the best prospects in the world, Money Pal Fourth.
Right.
You know, once again, y'all can check out Money Pal's highlights, him knocking out cats on my channel. I almost introduced you a little too early. I thought you was on the horn already with us, Money. But yeah, that's what it is.
Actually, I've been on for about almost a half an hour now.
Oh, you have been on. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Just throw that golden voice out every once in a while, man, so we know, man. You know, that's what it is.
Okay, it's all good, man. I'm just taking it all in, man. Taking it all in.
That's what it is. Hey, so Money, let me introduce you to my man Anthony Marsella. He's in the studio with us, undefeated prospect. He trains at the Mayweather Gym from Rhode Island, man.
What's happening, brother?
Hey, Anthony, what's going on now? How are you?
Man, slow motion. Just getting ready for another one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
So
go out there and handle them up, man.
That's it.
And you know what? I want to go back and respond to what my man said, because his original question was he wanted to ask everybody, you know, what our thoughts are on Charlo. He said he picked Charlo, and he said pretty much everybody picked Lubin to beat Charlo. Now I want to go ahead and talk about that. This is my whole thing. I think it was impressive that Charlo, he knocked out someone that people was praising so much in Erickson Lubin. Right. You know, it was. Right. I mean, I mean, at the same time, it wasn't the kind of fight to where, you know, we seen Lubin just get dog walked, and we seen he was nowhere near on his level. It was one punch, and I'm not gonna say, I ain't gonna take away credit from Charlo and say it was a lucky shot.
But what would have happened if, you know, because I didn't think it happened in boxing. I didn't think it happened. It don't necessarily mean he's the better fighter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, you get caught with shots, you get caught with.
At least not in that scenario.
Yeah, I would like to see them run that back at some point. I don't know if I don't know if.
Well, now psychologically, you know, we don't know if Lubin will be the same.
That's tough.
But
I think that young man will bounce back, man. I've seen him.
I agree.
I've seen him coming up.
I think he'll bounce back, but it's like, from Charlo's perspective, he'll be like, well, why do I need to fight you? I slept you in the first.
Of course, I know it'll go that way, but you know, I would like to see at some point, and it probably not the next fight, but I mean maybe 3-4 fights down the road. I would love to see them run that back. I don't know if it could be the same outcome, maybe not, but I do believe Erickson Lubin is the real deal. I think he is an extremely talented.
Well, if he's
fighter.
The same fighter he was before, you know, this happened, because once again
he just got caught with a shot, man. He did not see.
He didn't see the shot.
It's a scary thing when you get clipped like that.
Yeah.
look what happened to Broner.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Can you say that's the reason? I mean, not necessarily, but
he hadn't been the same since.
He has not been the same since.
Yeah.
And I thought he was one of the most talented guys out there before that happened. I was like, he's gonna clean up. He's gonna clean up. Like he's got the talent.
I would tell you this.
Power.
I've been saying this for a while that Adrian Broner, his problem has not been the skill level. I think the cat is still tremendously skilled, but I don't think he can pull the trigger anymore, and I don't think he risks pulling the trigger.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It was
because even with Mikey Garcia in the last fight, he just laid back on the ropes, man. It was like he didn't even even with the Sean Porter fight, when he lost to Sean Porter, he just pretty much moved around, tried not to get hit, tried not to get caught with a shot, and then he even dropped Sean.
Wow,
you know what I mean? It was like he's just not pulling the trigger.
This is so crazy. Shout out to Angel Santos. I just took a look. I just took a glimpse at the comment section.
Oh yeah.
And I was about to bring up Terry Norris. I was about to say that with the exceptions of Terry Norris, Manny Pacquiao, those are exceptions. Cats that got knocked out, came back and was damn near better, especially Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
You know, but Manny Pacquiao is a different situation. But you know, he moved up 8 weight classes and you know, basically got better. But yeah, my man Angel Santos. Shout out to Angel Santos. He's one of my moderators in the comment section, and my man Coach Sheldon holding it down.
And I wanted to say shout out to Ed Valencia too. He hit us up.
Oh, shout out to my man Ed Valencia. This part of that DBN Super Chat Army.
Yeah,
that's right, my man. He donated to DBN as always. He said, as always, appreciate what you do. Keep it up, guys. Support DBN the best. Need to see Kovalev versus Adonis. Good looking out, Ed Valencia, man. But but going back to so does that pretty much answer your question, my man? You still on the line with us, my man from Texas?
Yeah.
So and something else I want to say about that is Julian Williams. We just seen him. He had a great performance against Ishe Smith. And shout out to Ishe Smith. Hey, man, that boy got a Rocky Balboa type of little heart. You know what I mean?
I know, man.
The way he take punches, man. I mean, not even just taking punches, but anybody else would have got knocked out that night.
I believe that.
You know, I was like, man, how is Ishe gonna get through this? He was getting hit with hellacious body. Did you see that fight, Anthony? Did you catch the Ishe Smith and J Rock?
Oh, I was just gonna ask about that.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to know everybody's thoughts on that fight.
Yeah. I mean, you know, once again, whatchamacallit,
I was there live.
Oh, you were there for that one. I thought that J Rock, he looked impressive. I mean, it was against Ishe. It wasn't against Charlo.
Right.
But it was impressive. I mean, he didn't look, shell-shocked. He didn't look, timid or anything like that. But once again, like I said, just Ishe Smith, man, I commend the man for his heart, man. I mean, because
you really got to take your hat off to him with everything he's gone through recently, and to put on a performance like that.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, every time it looked like it was the beginning of the end, all of a sudden Ishe would dig deep and try to come back with something. And something else is impressive about J-Rock. I love how he sets up, his punches to try to knock you out. It's not telegraphed. He's always trying to set you up with a counter, something you don't see.
Right.
He's not just swinging, telegraph punches. Exactly. He was really in there trying to set up the knockout. But credit to Ishe, man.
I get it.
Like I said, man.
A lot of people thought that fight was a lot closer, man. Or it could have. Some people were saying that they thought it might have been a draw.
I wouldn't go that far.
Some people did, man.
Some people said that. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That wasn't a draw.
Yeah. No. I clearly seen J-Rock outboxing Ishe. But at the same time, like I said, I just give Ishe a lot of credit, man. He showed a lot of heart in that fight. He showed a lot of heart in that fight.
Hey. Speaking of last week's fights, because I know we were, we had to take a hiatus last week celebrating my anniversary, and you had some things going on.
I was in Mexico, barely getting back out here.
Mexico. But did anybody else catch the Anthony Durrell versus Dennis Douglin fight? I caught it, man. I had to sneak out of the hotel down to the bar you know, I told the missus I would be right back. I was gonna shoot some crap. I went to the bar, man, and was watching the fight. And so I was wondering, did anybody else catch that fight? Did you see it, Kirk?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was on Bounce TV, and luckily the bar had it. I know a lot of people missed it because it was on Bounce, and
I watched it on Bounce.
Oh, did you?
I'll check that part of it. I sure did.
Even the lead up to the fight, you know, Darrell, man, was doing some. Oh man, I mean, he was pushing my man at the press conference, and you know, it was kind of dirty. It was a little bit dirty, man. All that week, and during the fight, I thought that fight was a lot closer. It was you know, some good exchanges.
That guy was giving him problems.
He was giving him problems. Douglas was giving him problems.
He was giving him problems. Now, Darrell did rock him in the beginning.
Right, in the first round, and he held on. Yeah.
You know,
he was hitting clean body shots.
Slowly but surely started turning.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was hitting him with good, solid body shots, and then he started putting good combinations together. And then, you know, Dante, one of the things we talk about is when a fighter gets cut over the eye, and they took him over to the doctor, and they asked Darrell how many, you know, can he see? You know, how many fingers he got the answer wrong. You know, the universal answer is 2. You know what I mean? It's like if you say anything other than 2, you know you're wrong. But nah, they stopped the fight because he couldn't see in the 6th. I think it was in the 6th round, and they had to go to the scorecards because of a cut. The cut was not bad. It was underneath the eye, so it wasn't going to be bleeding in the eye. And I was disappointed, man, that Darrell, you know, didn't finish that out.
Yeah,
you know, but
that was a letdown. It was a letdown. But when there was some controversy starting up in his opponent's corner, how Darrell called his mom to the ring in order to, you know, settle the dirt of the dust a little bit.
Right. So. And I think Douglas was a lot tougher than he thought he was going to be. You know, he thought it was going to be bring him up to Flint, you know, put on a show for the crowd, and then Douglas was like, "Oh, wait a minute. It's not going down that easy." And he was just throwing a few shots at a time. And Douglas was putting the pressure on him.
And I seen all the comments.
Darrell,
go ahead.
I'll just say this real quick. I'm sorry. Darrell got too much into his emotions. He didn't use his combinations. Right. You know, like we're normally used to seeing. He got too much into his emotions. And once he did that, oh, man, it was like, okay, I see a weakness there. You know, like for another fighter, I see a weakness there. Maybe if I fight him, I can exploit this.
I know. But then he started, like someone was just saying, I think he did kind of look for a little way out of that. I mean, I think he kind of knew he may have been ahead on the cards, and look for a way out on that.
They saying Darrell quit in the comment section. Shout out to Al Walker joining that DBN Super Chat Army. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate that. He said, "Do you think Thurman is afraid of Spence?" Boy, yes. Oh boy. And he said yes. With no hesitation.
In one word.
With no hesitation. I'm just going to tell you what the boy said. We'll say it again. Keith Thurman said, that boy Errol Spence said he was ready for me. Well, guess what? I'm ready. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
So, I mean, that answers that. Hey, I mean, there's nothing else to say. There's not. I don't have to even add. I don't have to add no seasoning to that.
No, man.
It's already well seasoned. It's
right.
It's ready to eat and prepared.
Marinated.
It's marinated.
Fully marinated.
Yeah, you ain't got to put no extra on that right there, man. So yeah, man. I mean, you know, if Keith want to come over and do the show, and you know, talk about that, elaborate on not being ready, I would love to have him on the show.
I'd love to.
You know. Once again, you know, that's no disrespect to Keith Thurman, but this is what Keith Thurman. You need to get yourself a PR. You know, you need to get that's what you need to do, man.
Together.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what it is, man. Anyway, let me once again say thanks to my guest, man, being in the studio, my man Anthony Marsella, undefeated. You guys, I'm gonna have to get some footage of you working, man. We're gonna have to put some B-roll footage of you together and everything, man. You know, once again, he done been in there. This man, he done been in there with Tank Davis. He done been in there with Devin Haney. He sparred with all of them. You know, so
and missed that opportunity to spar with Floyd.
Guy came real close.
Close.
He was telling that story early, how he almost got that opportunity. Matter of fact, just reiterate on that because we had some live streaming issues. If you can, real quick, man, before I.
It breaks my heart a little bit every time I talk about
it.
Yeah. No, because coming into the sport, I mean, like I said, I didn't grow up into boxing, so you know. Floyd versus Ricky Hatton was actually the first boxing match that I willingly sat down and was like, I'm watching this fight, you know.
Okay.
I had been around, you know, the Mike Tyson fights. My family would get around at my aunt's house and watch that stuff. Roy Jones, he's honestly he's just so impressive to me in his prime, man. Like I remember I would watch his. I don't care if I had a beef in high school. I would watch his highlights. I'm getting hyped up, like. Right. but with Floyd, so you know, after coming out here and you know. Getting affiliated with everybody. Floyd, like I said, Floyd looked at me one day and was like, "Oh, where's your gear, champ?" And this was after getting blood work that day because I had a fight coming the week after. This is after sparring. It was my last sparring session, and I was like, no questions asked. I was like, "It's in the car." He's like, "Well, go get it, put it on." He's like, "I need some work." I was like, "All right, let's get it." I put my gear on the locker room, jumped in the ring, and they're like, "Oh, slow down, champ. Like you're going in second," because it was sparring with Thomas Delorme, and Delorme after a couple of rounds kept hitting him with some low blows. And next thing I know, Floyd's rolling out the ring, like, because it was his first time sparring, you know, since his last fight probably. So, you know, I was like, all right, I understand. I just thanked him for the opportunity. And he said I would get the chance, but I mean, now that he's, you know, retired again, who knows? Who knows?
I saw some footage of him last week though, snapping the jab on the bag.
It got to be old. It's got to be old.
Was it old?
It's got to be.
What footage you talking about? I was looking at the comments.
They're saying Floyd is staying sharp.
You think that was old? So
I think it was recent. I thought it was recent.
Yeah, because they put it up, and that's what I was trying to.
But I would like to know the reason.
Yeah.
There's got to be something behind it.
I mean,
but does he just work out? Doesn't he just go? He doesn't do.
He hasn't worked out since the McGregor fight, right?
The boy had a cup on and everything. You telling me he's sparring for what?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
If he is, then all right, stay tuned because something's going on. But I don't know.
Okay.
I'm Italian. I can't talk it on my hand.
Yeah. No, but that's a good point though, Anthony. And I just want to go back. Shout out to my man James Brown in the comment section. He's another beast. He's one of the best in the nation right now. One of the best amateurs. He also sparred with Devin Haney, but he just said, "Who's to say Thurman even beats Porter? The first fight was close and a rough, rugged fight. I'd rather him fight Spence and try to give a tough fight and do a rematch with Spence." Yeah, but James, you already know that if the fight ends the way the Kell Brook fight ended, there ain't gonna be no rematches. So you know he gonna have to get past the first fight without getting stopped, which will be an uphill battle. But that's a great point though, James. That's a great point. There's no guarantee he will even beat Sean Porter. But Sean Porter, we heard what Sean Porter said at the press conference. You know, after he beat Granados, he said the only fighter that I want to fight is Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. But I think he said later on. Did he say later on? After that,
he said eventually.
Yeah,
eventually.
Well, Keith Thurman had a telling interview when he talked about Danny Garcia as well. He had said that the difference between fighting Garcia and Porter was more aggressive and applied more pressure, which made that fight more difficult. So, I mean, even though I thought the Garcia-Thurman fight was close too, but the added pressure from Porter made the fight more difficult. Now, can you imagine him fighting, theoretically, Errol Spence, who likes to apply that consistent pressure?
Man. Wow.
That's the trouble for Keith Thurman. He's getting it out there.
Solid point.
Exactly. Exactly. I wanted to speak on one other thing, too. While we was talking about Floyd and we were talking about the McGregor thing, Oscar, the man who said the man who said
he needs a PR.
He said he needs a PR. Oh man,
I know exactly. Because I'm like, listen, man, Oscar, listen, brother, man, you know. He was
foolish, bro.
People forget how dangerous a microphone and a camera is, man.
God, man.
I mean, they really do, man.
First, the week before we were off, I talked about him kind of dissing the Errol Spence Lamont Peterson fight. Then he talked trash. He was talking, trash about it was something else too. If he if he still had
Deontay Wilder, he would be a superstar by now.
Megastar.
Yeah.
Then now this week, you know, he throwing salt. You know, well, he was dogging out the McGregor,
the whole build up, the whole
you know,
the whole fight.
This is a travesty.
It's a disgrace to boxing.
Disgrace to boxing.
Yeah.
You know, don't even entertain this. The real fight is coming up. You know, why would they even do that? And now you talking about you training.
But you notice, and Manny Pacquiao too. But see, that's the thing. You notice now, all of a sudden, if Floyd did it now, everybody is saying, "I want to fight Conor."
Everybody.
But this goes all the way back to Floyd Mayweather, damn near, you know, pioneering, you know, drug testing in the sport.
Right.
When he first did it, everybody was, he a coward, he this and he that.
Right.
Now all them people who said that, now they all participating in drug testing, and look at how many people done got busted.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing with the Conor. Deep down, this just goes to show you that deep down, a lot of people, they knew it was a great idea. They knew it was going to be huge. And I said this on the show and on a lot of videos. I said this before the fight. People like Pacquiao, Bob Arum, De La Hoya, they just wish, you know, like a comedian watching another comedian tell a joke, like, damn, I wish I would have came up with that joke, you know? Or a rapper, you know, whatever, like, damn, I wish I would have came up with that verse.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Damn, he beat me to it. Man. That was the situation with the Conor McGregor and a lot of the stuff that Floyd has done in the sport.
Exactly.
I wish I would have did it for him. You can't beat him, join him.
Exactly.
But like, but the hate in the process is something else. You know? and I want to respect De La Hoya so much for what he's done. But it's like, you look so silly, man.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. Hey, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get up out of here, man. We done had you up here in the studio for a minute, my fam. So
appreciate it.
Is there anything else you want to say to the fans, you know, before I let you out the studio, man?
I mean, for the new ones who you know, it's their first time getting introduced to me, I want to ask for your support, man. I follow my career. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Anthony Marsella. Spelled right here on the title somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, man, for the opportunity. I appreciate you.
Oh, no doubt, man. We're going to follow your progression, have you on the show.
Definitely.
I got some exciting things, you know, planned, you know what I'm saying? So
all right.
I'm looking to do something different with the sport because I feel like it needs it. I feel like it needs it a little bit. Although it's been a great year of boxing.
It has been
a great year of boxing.
This is the best.
It's been one of the
best.
But I'm definitely looking. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna. There's gonna be some fireworks. You're gonna hear my name one way or another. So keep looking out for me, Dante's Boxing Nation. You'll see me on here. And again, I'm fighting December 7th, Twin River Casino. It'll be streamed on Fight Night Live on Facebook. So keep up to date with me, and I'll keep posting the links.
That's what it is. Y'all done heard it from undefeated prospect Anthony Marsella. Once again, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of him. We're going to keep following the progression of his career. We're going to have him on the show at least a couple times a year, man.
All day.
So, yeah, that's what it is, man. Well, we're going to take a quick, small little intermission, little break or whatever, and then we're going to get back to the show because I want to go back and talk about this whole Jim Lampley commentary and the Kovalev and the light heavyweights. So we got a whole lot more to talk about, y'all. So give us a quick second, and we're going to get it right back rolling, y'all.
William Murder in the beat. 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 Where murder in the beat. Where your murder in the beat. Where your murder in the beat. Where your murder in the beat.
All right, y'all. AssKicking.com. Shout out to AssKicking.com. Let's get right back into it, Milt.
Let's do it.
Man, it's time to really get into it and dig deep now, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got my panel back. You guys back on the horn, right?
Yep.
Okay, money. For everybody just tuning in. Dante's Boxing Nation. We got Milton in here.
Yeah.
We got Money Powell the third. We got Kirk Jackson on the line. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it, man. So once again, Sergey Kovalev, he knocks out Shabransky in the second round. It was no doubt about it, Milt. It was a very impressive performance.
It was.
But this is why I want to talk about what Jim Lampley said, because there's some negative connotation to it, and I'll explain why. So Jim Lampley says after the fight, it's as if the Andre Ward fight never even happened, right?
Right.
And we all know now if somebody else says something like that, it would still sound kind of odd.
It would sound odd.
But when you hear HBO's Jim Lampley say it, I'm gonna tell you, I got a lot to talk about, but this is the reason why is, we know when he says that, first of all, it's no such thing as if it never happened, because it did happen.
Twice.
It happened
we
twice.
Watched it.
So you can't.
Watched it happen.
You can't try to act like it never happened.
You can't do it.
But this is exactly what they did, Milt, when Guillermo Rigo beat Donaire. This is exactly what they did. They tried to act like the fight never happened.
Exactly.
And that's how they treated Rigo, and that's how they promoted Donaire after the fight.
Right.
Like I told you guys on the last show or whenever it was, they did a promo on HBO right after Rigo beat Donaire. They did a promo where they were already advertising Donaire's next fight.
I know.
And they weren't advertising. It was like a cool Top Rank type of promo they did, where they showed all these fighters that was on the Top Rank banner, under that roster, and they didn't include Rigo. So I won't say it was just Top Rank. It was upcoming fights for HBO. So yeah, man. So when he says that, you know what that means.
I know exactly what it means.
Go ahead, Milt. But I got more to say. But
there's a couple things. It was one other thing with the Kovalev thing is they're positioning him to put him back up there, at the top. Of course, we know that. But I will say this with the Rigo fight: how is it that Lomachenko Sosa got more publicity than Lomachenko Rigo is getting right now?
Mm-hmm.
How is that fight not being publicized, or promoted on a level of Pacquiao Marquez or I know it probably never reached Pacquiao Mayweather, but you got two of the greatest amateur fighters in the history of the sport. You got two gold medalists. You got two, technically sound fighters. How is this fight? What is it? 2 weeks away?
Yeah.
And you barely hearing any buzz about it. I don't think I've seen not one promo on television for it already.
Well, you know what? And let me just, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to the double standards, and the hypocrisy of Jim Lampley saying this praising Kovalev's performance. It's as if, you know, the war fight never even happened.
Never happened.
Think about this.
He's back.
Do you remember what they were saying when Deontay Wilder knocked out Brice Severn in the first round? They were saying, he was out of shape. He was fat. He was this,
right?
You know, all of this stuff. Now Shabransky just came off of a loss, right? He just came off of a loss. I mean, you know, if you tried to pay this man,
to Barrera, right?
Yeah, to Barrera. You know, he refused to avoid a punch in the fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was against his religion to even avoid a punch in this fight right here. He didn't have the defense. And once again, we already said that it was a great performance. But
I would even say this. I saw a couple of improvements from Kovalev. He even kind of looped the right hand.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Instead of coming straight down the
That's how he hurt him the first time.
That's how he hurt him.
Yeah, that's how he hurt him with that kind of look like a right hook almost.
And he hit him to the body with straight right hand. With a jab and a straight right hand to the body.
There were definitely
it never went to the body before. You know, I even think I saw him throw a hook. And before, you know, before he was just a solid 1-2 fighter from different angles. But that 1-2.
That hook was an improvement. And real quick, let me, because I did miss somebody just joined that DBN Super Chat Army. Shout out to Where It All Happens. He said, speaking of drugs, USADA versus VADA, some shady shit going on there in USADA, it seems. Okay, we'll go ahead and talk about that as well. Is he talking about some shady stuff with USADA or VADA or both? He said in USADA. Going on in USADA, it seems. Okay, I don't know exactly what he's talking about when it comes to that, but we'll go ahead and talk about that as well. But Money, I think you were about to say something real quick. But shout out, man. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. And everybody showing love in the Super Chat section. Go ahead, Money.
Okay, just real quick. You made a good point, you know, talking about how Jim Lampley tried to make things sound after the fight. Okay. Now, this is just how, I don't know if anyone caught it or not. When a guy loses the fight, do you ever hear that person, regardless of the stature of them, do you ever hear the announcer say, former undefeated?
Not at all.
Go back and listen to that very carefully.
No.
Go back and, you know, former champion, got it. Only the former undefeated.
You said.
I'm like, wait a minute.
You saying they said that?
Please.
I gotta go back.
He said that. Please go back. Michael Buffer said that.
I gotta go back and check that.
You got to be kidding me. Someone go back, please, and listen to that.
Wait, we gotta hear this.
Oh, man.
I want to ask everybody in the comment section. Did anybody hear that? That's pretty deep if he said that.
Oh man, I'm trying to see these comments though. They killing me over here too.
And my man,
I am not joking. When I heard that, all I could do was laugh. That's all I could do. I just smiled and said, "Oh, okay." Then on top of that, then the last thing, my last 2 cents about that fight last night. Hey, good deal for Kovalev, but he hit a guy who normally blocks punches with his face.
Exactly.
It's like all day.
That's no doubt about it, Money. No doubt. But this is what I'm saying though. I remember Al Bernstein, and you know Al Bernstein, you know, is I won't say that he's like, you know, one of the grand wizards of the decafs, because you know, compared to Jim Lampley, you know, he's been pretty fair. But I noticed recently, you know, he's been sound like he a little contagious, like he might have got bit or something. I don't know. But he was taking away all credit from Deontay Wilder throughout the broadcast. He was basically saying, "Oh well, you know, there are people that Wilder could have fought better than Brice Severn and Ronaldo, who is really really good. Shout out to Ronaldo, blow by blow announcer over there, or broadcaster over there. He was saying, well, you know, he tried to fight Luis King Kong Ortiz. He tried to fight Pavek, and he tried to fight this guy and that guy. And then Al Bernstein said, "Oh, but he could have fought Dylan White." He said he could have fought Dylan. I was like, "Wow, really?" And then after the fight, Al Bernstein, you know, he started to say, "Yeah, well, you know." Oh, it was then Jim Gray. It was Jim Gray, like, you know, what does a win like this mean? You know, a guy, you know.
Oh man.
Yeah, Jim Gray said that to
paying attention to him.
Oh yeah, he said what is it supposed to mean? You know, a guy, the only guy that Wilder hasn't knocked out, who coincidentally he won the title from.
Right.
Which it only makes sense that you would give that person a shot back at their own title.
Exactly.
Right. That they had before you. You know, my point is when you look at the contrast of how the reaction was when Sergey Kovalev knocked out Shabransky, who, just like Money said, you know, I mean, defense is against everything Shabransky believes in. You know what I mean? That, you know, so you
don't believe in it.
Yeah. So the whole thing is you add that and the reaction compared to the reaction of when Deontay Wilder knocked out Bermane Stiverne. You know, once again, a guy who had never been knocked out. You know, the only guy and the former heavyweight champion of the world. You know, I mean, when you look at the contrast, it's unbelievable, man.
Man, somebody in the comment section, my man Cass. Hold on, my man Cass in the comment section, he was like, that's like being called formerly a virgin. He was like, he was being formerly undefeated.
Yeah.
Like being called formerly a virgin.
Hey, that's a good way to put it. I like that.
Wow. Yeah. So,
it's true.
Hey, they do.
Yeah.
Hey, but I got to get the one thing with Coach Sheldon. Coach Sheldon, he was saying that Max Kellerman, you know, he kind of hit the audience with the what the new media has been saying. If Kovalev was cheated, why all the new changes and soul searching? This dude, he done found God. He done quit smoking, drinking. He ain't running women. I mean, he sound like what's my name, Ike Turner, and what's love got to do with it? You know, I done put down that narcotic. This man done changed up. He totally cleaned up his life, man. But I mean, ass whipping to humble you.
Yeah,
it will make you reevaluate all what you're doing.
He still ain't apologized for the monkey comments and all that kind of stuff. He ain't apologized for the monkey comments and none of that stuff yet.
We've done that though, because how much can you really prove against that type of opponent who was already coming off a loss? And the only reason why he wasn't fighting Barrera is because they had a low ball offer to him. Well, and they didn't really offer him any money. So why take that fight? So it's like, you know, HBO kind of, or Jim Lampley sounds to me like a Kovalev apologist, or like Kovalev himself when they're trying to excuse his performance against Andre Ward, saying they don't exist. It's like, no, they exist. They happen. So it's like,
very well said.
What actually did you learn? What did he prove by fighting Shabransky? I mean, he got a win. It's good to get his confidence, but the weakness is exposed by Ward. We don't know if he's improved on that.
And that's true
because of that weakness.
Absolutely, and shout out to my man. What's that? Is that Rodnell Dallas? He said, Dante, if your shirts are for sale, let us know because I need that, bruh. And he had made some comments about the shirts earlier, man. Yeah, man, we definitely, once again, you know, you guys, for now, you guys can email me directly. Let me know which shirt you want at Dante'sBoxingNation@gmail.com, and I'll have somebody shoot you guys an invoice. We got them in all different colors. You know, I have somebody working on the website, but I actually didn't like the way it was designed, you know, so we got some more ideas. We want to go ahead and keep working on that. But yeah, man, go ahead though. Email me at Dante'sBoxingNation@gmail.com. I appreciate the support. You guys can always show your love by either, you know, copping one of them shirts, donating to the channel, you know, either or. We appreciate that. This is a full-time hustle over here. Ooh, but yeah, right, man, but getting back into it, I wanted to also say something real quick, Milt, about what Max Kellerman, or you know what, let me bring you back on the horn, Kirk. So Max Kellerman, something else he said that was on the lines of what Jim Lampley said is he said, well, you know, now that Andre Ward is retired, this is like, you know, this kind of benefits Sergey Kovalev because there's not another talent like Andre Ward. So now that means, you know, Sergey Kovalev basically has an opportunity to be the best in the division now.
He's about to reign supreme.
Yeah. So you see, I mean, do you see the way, you know, they think, you know, when it comes to, you know, the fighters that they want to be on the top. Yeah. You know, forget about, you know, him proving he the best by beating anyone that he's ever faced. Like, you know, now we got this dude out the way. Look, now we can still call you the best. But we can still call you the best now that he's gone.
In order to get his belts back or get a title, he got to go to Stevenson, Bivol,
which is
Bitter BF,
which is a
tall order.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you gonna get through that murder, you know, I mean, I won't call it a murderer's row yet, but Bivol,
Bobby Jack is there too.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. Somebody was asking earlier, you know, my thoughts on. I forget who it was in the comment section. They were bringing it up about the Bivol versus Sullivan-Barrera. And I'm not sure of how I feel about that one just yet, man.
Bivol against Barrera?
Yeah, because
I mean, that's a 50-50 fight.
It is.
But Barrera, man, Barrera, he finds ways to win.
He does, man. Got knocked down.
Ways to win.
Got knocked down in the first again. Joe Smith knocked him down in the first, and last night he got knocked down.
I don't know what type of adversity Bivol's dealt with yet. I mean,
that's the problem with me too. But I will tell you this: I watched Bivol fight this kid out of. Is he out of Baltimore or was he out of? I want to say it was out of Baltimore. Clarkson. I don't know if y'all. He's crushed a few up and coming cats. You know, they usually put him in with a few guys that are, you know,
we'll take a call in a minute too, guys. We left y'all on hold. Go ahead.
Yeah, they kind of on the move. They're kind of coming up a little bit, and they're gonna put him in with Clarkson. Clarkson has actually crushed a couple of cats, and I thought that Clarkson. I'm like, all right, this dude got. I think at the time 9 wins. I'm like, this dude is not ready for Clarkson. Clarkson about to put. Man, he destroyed Clarkson in 4 rounds. I'm not. He had him beat down, man. I'm talking about. I've never seen him thoroughly beat down like that. Yeah, and Clarkson can fight, man. That dude can fight, and Bivol straight brought it to him. The right hand was dominating him all night long.
Well, that's why
him to the gut, to the face,
Bivol,
to the gut.
Bivol looks good. That's
he
why
looked
I say
really good, man. But Barrera is more seasoned. He has more fights, and he only lost the Ward.
Yeah, and we know that if he gets hurt, he doesn't freeze up. Right. He doesn't fold. Right. You know what I mean? Right. He fights even harder. You know, he adjusts to whatever mistakes he made. Once again, we have to see what's going to happen when Bivol get caught right on the button and gets dropped.
Or get a body shot.
Yeah.
Like I said, the European fighters, used to European fighters with the amateur pedigrees, haven't fought coming up the ranks, haven't been hit in the gut, solar plexus, the sternum,
that intestinal fortitude,
that liver. They haven't had it touched yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. How do you react to that?
And something else, you know, is important to note is that same opponent that Barrera just beat this weekend, Valera. That guy actually went 12 rounds with Bivol. You know, he went the distance with 12 rounds. And you know, and we seen. And Valera is good, man. He's good. I mean, he faded in this fight against Barrera, but you know, you got to attribute a lot of that to Barrera because Barrera kept walking him down. Right, Money? I mean, what was your take on what was your take on that fight, Money?
I mean, I would have to say that Valera, you know, even though some of the tactics that he was using, he showed a lot of heart and determination through his emotion. It's you know, a lot of low blows, but still outside of that, he is a dangerous guy. But let's see, Barrera himself, to me, he's dangerous. I think he proved himself to be vulnerable, like in the first 2 rounds or so. But if you can't do anything with him after that, you're in for a good fight. If he can get into the 4th and 5th round on, you're in a pretty good fight. But I think Kirk had mentioned it earlier. Badu Jack, I would love to see Badu Jack in there with some of these guys.
Ooh, yeah, man.
Yeah. Boy, you know, he vacated.
There's so many cats at the light heavyweight division.
It is. Man, I've been harping on the light heavyweight man for a minute now. And then that was even before what's my man, the Polish fighter. He kind of out of the mix now. Adonis Stevenson just crushed him in the 2nd round.
The one he had a rematch.
Fonfara.
Yeah, he was even in the mix at one point. You know what I mean? So the light heavyweight division is rife with talent, and like I was saying, you know, you still got Anthony Yard, who is still on the come up.
Yes,
man. Shout out to Anthony. We got to get my boy back on the show.
We have to, man.
Yeah, man.
That cat is beast.
That boy is a beast, and he's at the light.
He has a fight coming up here pretty soon too.
He coming to the States? Is he coming to the States?
No, I think it's going to be a British card.
Okay.
I was going to announce it later, but it's going to be like 3 of them on it. James DeGale is coming back. You know, he hasn't fought since he fought Badu. And then Lee Selby, Anthony Yard, and Daniel Dubois, who's a young up-and-coming heavyweight that y'all need to be looking out for. But the light heavyweight division, man, is rife with talent right now, man. It's strong with talent.
Yeah.
You know,
and my man said Alida Alvarez is still in the mix too.
Oh yeah, Alida Alvarez. Yeah. And we still got the
what happened with the Adonis? Because Alida Alvarez was supposed to be Adonis' mandatory. Whatever happened to that?
But they're moving on. And he gonna give it to Badu. Badu was they're trying to put the Badu Jack Adonis Stevenson together.
I heard them talking about that. I just didn't know how official that was, or they're in negotiations.
Yeah, Coach.
Actually, I think the Badu Jack and Kovalev would be much bigger.
Oh,
and it would make a lot of money because now it's like, okay, now you have this smaller guy that's going to be right there in your chest the whole time on the inside, moving around you, and then you will be stripped, Jim Lampley, or many of the other guys that are, you know, to see what Kovalev is really made of. And I think that Badu Jack is all wrong for Kovalev.
Oh yeah,
so I just don't see that fight happening. And they're going to try to stay away from that as long as they can. Just like the HBO versus Showtime, they're going to try to stay away from Charlo and Jacobs because that's a lot of money right there. So big first bid, whoever gets control of that, hey man, you know. So it's the money aspect, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree with money. And you notice with HBO in one of their recent telecasts, I think it was with Danny Jacobs, his last fight, they had mentioned that, well, in the middleweight division, we have guys who are mostly under one banner, and we can make these fights. We can see these fights happen, unlike in welterweight. And they're kind of throwing a shot at Heyman, basically.
Good point. Very good point.
But
good point.
Well, let's go ahead and take a call. We haven't taken a call in a minute, so let's go ahead and take a call. I appreciate you guys waiting on hold. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so we got 904. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
What, is this me?
904, that's you, man. That's you. What's going on, man?
Oh, yeah, man. I called to come expose some of the people in Boxing Nation. And you primarily, Dante, boy, I know y'all remember me from last time I called.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
We've been waiting for you to call back.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you, man.
Where you been at, man? Where you been at?
Go ahead. Let the exposing begin, man.
Okay.
Okay, my statement still stands.
Oh wait, were you the one that called about Thurman? Were you weren't the one that was calling?
I called last time about saying Wilder was a bum.
Wilder, yeah.
Wilder was a bum. Oh, this is the one that said Wilder was a bum. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you remember him, Money? This is he about to expose the hell out of us. Well, look, go ahead, man.
Y'all gonna cut me off and then tell my somebody ain't make no sense.
Not at all.
All I was saying was. When I was saying was Joshua just gonna smoke that dude Wilder when he gets a chance, bro. I know y'all know he just trying to stall the fight up for more money. Even though I think he just gonna just smoke the dude, bro. Wilder ain't got no smoke, bro.
I love this guy.
And when we talk about you, Dante. We talking about something with the bias and what you like to call, the ignorance and stuff like that. You kind of a little ignorant about these fighters about on HBO. You don't give a lot of these fighters the credit. You only root for the black fighters a lot of the times, bro.
What fighter did I not give credit to? What fighter did I not give credit to?
Like when you always be like, this fighter, this Guillermo Rigondeaux was never given this amount of credit on HBO. You know how many times that's
Wait. But you said I didn't give credit. You said I didn't give credit to certain fighters. Which fighters did I did not give credit to?
You didn't give credit to Kovalev when he was fighting on HBO. Like you just,
what kind of credit? What kind of credit? What did I not say about him?
You just no. Before I just called there, you just said what did he prove by beating the Sabransky guy?
First of all, I never said what did he prove. I said if you look at the double standards of Deontay Wilder, what everybody said about Wilder, what you just said right now. You contradicting yourself because you just said Wilder is a bum. You right after Wilder knocked out Bermain, you one of the main people who just said, "Oh, you took away all the credit." The first thing I said about Kovalev's performance is it was a great performance.
That's the first thing
that was the first thing I said. You throwing stuff out, but you're not explaining. You just saying stuff without any type of substance.
No, Dante. Now, when you asked me, you said what fighters am I not giving credit? Look, I was just trying to tell you, bro. You just don't give some of these fighters the credit, bro. Like,
who are you comparing? Oh, okay, go ahead.
That's Lomachenko. He would fight a fighter. Of course, they probably not a big name or something like that, but you'll just be like, hey, when this fighter, you kind of play the I'm hiding the thing. Like, I ain't gonna mention it, but I'm hiding it. Yeah, this is a great performance by Vasyl Lomachenko. Congratulations to him, but you got to see his hypocrisy. Guillermo Rigondeaux just fought, but nobody just mentioned him.
You kind of rambling on. You're not telling me exactly what I said.
I just did, because you remember, like, I think there was some time ago when Vasyl Lomachenko fought. I think he fought Sosa or one of them. I can't remember, but you was telling me. I mean, you was telling at least the fan base that the people like what's the name, Vasyl Lomachenko. Yes, congratulations, but. This Jim Lappy was saying this about this and that, and then Guillermo Rigo fought like not too long ago. Nobody giving him the hype and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my god, young man.
And everybody's saying cut. Everybody's saying cut this dude off. But no, we ain't gonna cut him off. We're gonna go ahead and let him continue. We're not gonna cut him off. We're gonna let him continue to dig a hole for himself because he's not making any sense right now. But go ahead, money. Because let money reply to you real quick.
I want you. Yeah, excuse me, sir. I won't say young man, sir. Let me just explain something to you. How many amateur fights have you ever
had? Probably like 12, 13. I need to get more.
No problem. Got you. Now, which ones are easier that's going to make you look good? Ones that are defensive or ones that are easy to hit in the face almost at will? Which ones are going to make you look better?
I don't know. Maybe the defensive one.
You don't know?
No. The ones that are easy to hit in the face. Sabransky has F- defense. Do you understand that?
He said F-.
He has F- defense. No. He has F- defense.
F-.
If you don't understand how professional boxing actually works on the bounce back at that level, that's unfortunate on your part. No. Hold on a second. You want to
go ahead.
Give me a chance. If you don't understand the bounce back of how that actually works and how much money is behind this guy, the cash machine driving this, that's unfortunate on your part, okay? There are decabs, and then there are super decabs. I want you to think about that for a moment, okay? There are decabs and there are super decabs.
I understand what you're saying, bro. Look, okay,
go ahead.
So you saying like I think y'all kind of put me. I think y'all kind of put me like you try to put me like in that little in the way of like what you're thinking about it. Like this guy, he couldn't have no defense. So I get what you're saying. But at the same time, how could you possibly? No, so how could you possibly just say, like, Stavern, he deserved the rematch because he's the only guy he decisions just for the title? And did you see this guy's defense? Is there any defense behind this guy, Stavern? Like, Stavern has always been...
Who made that fight happen? I want you, young man. Who made that fight happen? Did Deontay Wilder make that fight happen?
But I'm just saying,
those guys from the Deontay Wilder camp were looking another way. They were not looking to fight him. I want you to understand that. Okay?
Yeah, but at the same time, like,
have you ever talked to Shelly Finkel one-on-one? I want you to really think about this. You ever talked to Shelly Finkel? I mean, like, picked up the phone, talked to him on there. Have you ever talked to JD's? The manager, if you can't tell me something like that, and you can't tell me that you talk to these people straight on, really, you're still standing on the outside looking in.
Money. When you asked him the question, hold on, I'm gonna let you finish, bro. But when he asked you the question, who's easier to hit? or who would you have an easier time with against a guy who has no defense at all? And you said, and the first thing you said was, hold on, let me just. The first thing you said was, I don't know. Now once again, I want to go back.
Wait, I don't know against what. You remember you talking about when he asked me who's easier to?
No, he asked you a simple question. He asked you a simple question. Who would be an easier opponent? A guy who has zero defense or a guy that has great defense? You said I don't know. Okay, but let's go all the way back.
No. Obviously, I didn't hear him when you said that. I thought he was saying somebody. Okay. I thought he said, who would be an easier person?
Man, you got it, man. If you gonna call,
he said,
listen.
Wait, are you letting me finish talking?
Listen. If you gonna call in, you gotta pay attention because you talking to us, so you gotta pay attention to what we saying when we come back and say something. Did he just hang up?
Yeah. I think
The decaf just hung up.
Oh man.
Yeah, he just
listen.
He's a super decaf.
Yeah,
super decaf. T-shirt. Hey, T-shirts on the way, money. We coming up with a design for a super decaf.
Yeah. We should have kept it a surprise.
Man, my
it's
bad.
All good. It's all good.
Man.
But see, what?
And find a guy that's easy to hit. That kind of just lets you know his thought process, right?
And you know, a proper analogy right now is, you know, you have somebody jump in the ring, you know, throw a whole bunch of punches and then go back to their corner and say, "That's it."
You say he rage quit.
Yeah, he quit. Yeah,
he quit on his stool.
Yeah, he knew.
Come on, man, call back.
He knew he was about to get that work.
He was, because the thing is, we give Lomachenko credit for being. You know, I know definite top 5, but if not top 3 pound for pound fighter in the world. You said it was a magnificent performance. You said it was a great performance last night.
Of course.
You said it was a great performance last night.
And he was the one that took away all credit.
But it was easy to look great against a guy that has no defense. You know, so hey, we got to call it like we see it.
And let's just go a little step. We're gonna have to go a little step further. You know, when it comes to this dude, because clearly, you know, he pulled the coon card. You know, and let me explain that, because you was live with us. The first thing he did was completely trash Deontay Wilder's performance. And then he comes on the show and he says, "Oh, you only give black fighters, you know, credit." But he comes on the show and he purposely takes the credit away from black fighters just to try to push this agenda, you know, that he's not biased.
Right.
When he's accusing somebody of doing exactly what he's doing the other way around.
Exactly.
But the difference is, once again, we didn't already gave credit. That's why when I asked him the question, who did we not give credit to? And then he'll start changing shit around. He'll be like, "Oh, well, you know, when Rigo fought, you know, you said people weren't giving him credit." Wait, what do you mean? I asked you, who am I not giving credit to?
I wonder.
You know, and then he said, "Oh, well, you know, with Kovalev, you said, you know, oh, he won, but he changing things, putting words in your mouth." You know, this is the type of...
He act like the bias doesn't exist. And it's not us creating the bias. We just call it out. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, like, if you look at it with Guillermo Rigondeaux, okay, he beats Donaire, and then now he goes over to Japan and fight, and you don't even... No one is carrying it on television. Mm-hmm. This guy, you can't find him on TV. Mm-hmm. It's like, are you serious, man? How is it that this man, who has... is just as impressive amateur background as Lomachenko, in his 11th fight beat the Flash, Nonito Donaire, and then now you can't even find him on TV. It's like he's going out and hustling fights on his own. You know what I mean? How in the world is that? Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Is it that he doesn't fit a profile?
It's Aram and ACO's lead guy, Jim Lampley, openly talk shit about him.
Right, exactly.
He's boring.
Yeah, I know.
Let's not support him. And this is your fighter, and you're like, let's not support him. Let's not. I mean, come on now.
Like I said,
who openly gives Rigondeaux praise aside from us? Like, who really does that?
It's rare to find.
Really don't hear that.
Yeah,
you don't hear it. And they want to, and for the same guys that want to act like Lomachenko didn't lose to Salido, and these are the same guys that want to praise him for beating Mariaga coming off a loss and want to praise him for beating Jason Sosa, who really lost to Nicholas Walters. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I know.
And it's so funny, man. Because, it's so funny, though, because you have cats like this dude, this decaf who just called in. But you notice, these decafs right here, they listening to the decaf Grand Wizards.
Right.
But we can't get the Grand Wizards to call in.
Right.
We can only get, they students to call in. The people that's listening to all of the rhetoric in the comments.
Exactly.
They regurgitate it all. You notice how they're the ones that's bold enough, to do the dirty work and call in. But the actual Grand Wizard decafs, they won't call in. They're the ones that fill up the comment section, and corrupt dudes, minds like the dude who just called in right now. But once again, so this dude who just called in, he didn't have a problem with Sergey calling black people monkeys. He didn't have no problem with all the double standards like we talking about Rigo. He used the mistreatment of Rigo to prove that I was, to suggest that I was being biased.
I don't even understand where he was coming from at that point.
So basically, if you see somebody getting treated bad, right? You know what I mean? And you go ahead and you expose that, you doing something wrong for exposing, that person is being mistreated.
And Mr. Self is right. Santa Cruz and Frampton ducked Rigo. A lot of fighters have ducked Rigo. Yeah. Rigo could have had a lot of other fights, man.
Yeah, man. But once again, man, I want his leader to call in. That's what I want.
I know.
I want his boss.
The leader?
I want the leader to call in.
Grand Wizard.
Yeah, man. We want the Grand Wizards. We forget the little soldiers you got calling in. The peasants. We don't want the peasant decafs. We want the Grand Wizard decafs to call in. So anyway, man. Oh boy. So what else we got, man? Let's go ahead. I got one
other thing on last night.
I'll take another call too, but go ahead, man.
Hey, Jason Sosa kind of got a little payback last night because he was robbed last night by Gamboa.
He said he was robbed.
Man, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that fight too. But go ahead.
In my opinion, if you get knocked down in one round and lose a point for holding in another round, you got 2 10-8 rounds, and you held most of the fight, how in the world do you pull out? It was a draw on one card, and then it was he won by 1 point and then 2 points on another card. So I'm just trying to figure this thing out, man. I'm trying to figure out how in the world did Gamboa pull out that victory last night.
Well, one thing I will say, what's going on over here?
I don't know. Did you shut
Okay, we just lost okay, I think we just lost anyway. Money, Kirk, you guys there? Yeah, I think we just lost Money and Kirk. But anyway, I mean, when it comes to that fight,
he called him back. Mr. Decaf. Ain't that him at the 904?
No, I don't think that's him. But like I said, once again, I mean, he done hung up. We could go ahead and put him back on. But let's go ahead and take this next caller.
Yeah, let's get another one.
All right, we got 334. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man? Hold on for a second. Okay, we got 334. Something wrong with the phone lines? I think the phone line's tripping right now. 334, you there? Let me take another call and see if something wrong with the phone lines.
Yeah, I think it's something wrong with the phone line.
Let's see here. Hold on, y'all. We're trying to see if these phone lines. We got a lot of people on hold. And okay, we got 314. You there? Okay, guys, just hold tight for a minute. I'm gonna see what's going on with the phone lines right now. Yeah, we got people. Yeah, because we're not hearing anybody. Not hearing Kirk.
Oh, man.
Not hearing Money. Let me see what happened. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. I don't know how, but I got disconnected on my end. But yeah, hold on for a second. So yeah, man. Let me see. Before I end the show, guys, I want to talk a little bit more about in this Gamboa fight. But hold on.
Yeah, Reginald Owens, he kind of hit it on the head.
Hold on real quick.
It was a Golden Boy promotion. You know, that is how Gamboa
We'll have the phone lines up in a minute, guys. Go ahead, Milt.
Yeah, he was saying that was a Golden Boy promotion. And the thing was, one thing that caught my ear last night is when they was translating in Gamboa's corner, his trainer was like, hey, man, he was like, acting like, don't worry about it. You winning this fight. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, you winning this fight? I'm like, man, where is he winning this fight at? And it was like his corner, his new trainer that they brought in, and I think they're just bringing in a new trainer to get him active and get him back on, consistent training program. But his trainer was saying it as though he was prophetic. It's like he was just calling it before it even was announced that he was going to win this fight. That's what it sounded like to me, because it was just odd that his corner would tell him that, and it just, out of the blue, a fight that he should have lost, that he was down in 2 rounds, 10-8, and he still ended up winning.
I'm going to say this, and Roy Jones said it as well. I think the fight, and I'll explain why, but I think the fight could have went either way, and the only reason I say that is because because you could clearly see the Gamboa kind of faded.
He was fading, man.
But even with him fading and even with him not looking nowhere near as good as he used to look, Jason Sosa couldn't land anything. He couldn't land any punches. So it's like if you, let's say, for example, you got a guy just out on his feet and he's sitting over there like in Mortal Kombat when they say finish him, and you still can't land a shot while this man's sitting over here days waiting for you to finish him. He's still, to me, Jason wasn't landing shots. So I'm just saying I don't have a problem with it going either way. And that's why I know Max Kellerman, he said I could see if it wasn't for the deduction points and the knockdowns, he said I could see it going either way.
Right.
But he said with that, he said with that end he can't see it. And then Roy said I could see it going either way. I just thought that
I thought that was a cop out on their part, man. Because the thing was he was fading from around round 6 on to the end of the fight. From around 6 on. Because I think I gave him 3 and 4. I gave him 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know. I gave him 3 rounds in the fight, and it was kind of close up to that point. But from round 6 on, he was hanging on. It looked like he was exhausted. He only had 3 weeks. I'm not sure how much training he got in 3 weeks. I don't know what kind of shape he was before he got the notice for the fight. So I don't know what kind of shape he was in. But it looked like it was obvious he was not up to par.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. He was hanging on. He faded in that fight.
I really feel bad for Gamboa, man, because all that talent that he had, man.
Oh my God.
And it looks like now he ain't going to get it back.
He's 35 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the phone lines are back up. Once again, we got the phone lines. So Money and Kirk, you guys are back up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how, but we got disconnected some kind of way.
Hey, Kirk, you back with us too?
I see here. Yeah, Kirk is there. Kirk is there.
Mm-hmm.
And something else I want to say about the decaf that called in. Now, you notice, once again, saying, oh, you only giving credit to black fighters. And then he compared, when I said who am I not giving credit to, he used Kovalev as an example, how he said, how you taking away some of the credit of him beating Shabransky, but you notice in any other country, you take the Philippines, for example, you will never hear a Filipino guy calling in, talking to a Filipino reporter and saying, you know what, you racist, man, because I noticed you only giving, these Filipinos credit. Like Manny Pacquiao, you over here, but you ain't saying nothing about, whatever. You never get that. Only in America do you hear people saying stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But the irony of it all is, once again, we the only ones, and that's what new media is about. We're the only ones giving everybody credit. Because like I said, man, when it comes to a Golovkin fight, not only do we've been giving them tons, you definitely giving Golovkin a gang of credit. But
I was even giving Kovalev credit, even through all of a lot of people thought I was crazy, man. I give credit where credit is due.
Let me say this though. Mm-hmm. I fly to these Golovkin fights to cover these fights with my own money. you have somebody like what's his name, Dan Raphael, who represents the biggest sport network company in the nation, ESPN, and he refuses to go cover Andre Ward's fight. When Andre Ward fought against Barrera, Brand, he's getting paid for hotel, flight, everything, right? Eating expenses, everything. He getting paid to go there. He doesn't even cover it. But yet new media is there to cover Golovkin's fight. All of Golovkin's fights. You know, any fights that we can afford to go and cover, we covering them. You know, so and once again,
all the way out to England.
Yeah, all the way out to the UK.
Yeah.
So once again, you know, if you deserve the credit, you're gonna get the credit. But ain't nobody gonna tell you a good ass damn singer if you can't sing. You gonna get that truth no matter what, and you just gonna have to take it at the end of the day. And you cannot compare. You can't compare certain fighters who's not as good, you know, to fighters who are exceptionally good, who are special talents. You know. Once again, you can't sit over here and say, how come you ain't giving Leo Santa Cruz as much credit as you give Guillermo Rigo? That's a rhetorical question. You know, there's a reason why when I interview all of these trainers, you know, and boxers, and no matter what their race, nationality is, the majority of them will give Floyd Mayweather more credit than they'll give any other fighter.
Right.
It's because they're basing it off of skill, right? They're basing it off of accomplishments and everything else. You know, you can't try to balance. Once again, when you speak in the truth, there's no such thing as balance. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as balance when you speak in the whole truth. You know, so once again, if you deserve the credit, then you get the credit, and that's just all that's to it. So let's try to take another call though. I want to get some more callers in here since we had a decaf. You know, I've been waiting for some decafs to call in. But anyway, we got 314. What's going on, man? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, man? This is Rello, the mellow fellow, man. St. Louis, Missouri.
What's going on, man?
What's up in the Lou?
What's going on? What's on your mind, man?
Hey, I called in last time when you had a decaf doing that. You know, that's that
that's the what? What did you say?
That's that Willie Lynch
I thought you said, oh, no doubt about it. It's definitely the Willie Lynch syndrome. I thought that's what you said. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I remember when he said that. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, but I wanted to say, what y'all think about Devin Alexander, man?
You know what? I have to be honest. I missed that fight. Did anybody see that fight on the panel? Did anybody? Money?
I did, yeah.
You seen the fight?
I thought.
What did you think? How did he look? Did it look like the same Devin Alexander? Because I missed the fight.
I thought he looked good, man.
He looked good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just hope, because I know since he moved up to welterweight, Devin had no power at all. You know, so that was the problem he had in his last fight, man. He'll be hitting these guys with the kitchen sink, the garage, the car, and it ain't doing nothing. And so he has to work way harder.
Then he got mowed over by Sean.
Yeah. I mean, but that was, and that was when he was more kind of in his prime, when he fought against Sean. But now
he looked good considering he looked good considering he was out for 2 years.
Yeah,
he looked a lot more. He looked fuller at that weight class, like he's grown into the weight class finally.
I noticed that too, Kurt.
I don't. What's that?
I say I noticed that too.
Okay,
he filled out. He got thicker. You know what I mean? Like he grew into the weight, but I'm not sure if the power is there.
Yeah, and once
and I don't know if he can beat the top guys at welterweight. You know,
I think his boxing skills. You don't think his boxing skills would give Keith Thurman a problem? I mean, it's obvious.
It's possible. It's very possible. It's very possible.
I think so. I think so. I think he could. I think he can give Lamont Peterson. I mean, they're same weight class. I mean, they can make a match if depending on what happens. I think he can do well against Danny Garcia. Against Errol Spence, I don't know about that one, but
no way. I said that myself, but I was mainly calling because I know Keith Thurman is dodging Errol Spence, and they keep saying if I keep winning, if he keep winning. But do everybody remember Hakeem Rockman, how he shook up the game. Who's to say they're gonna win in there?
Oh,
that's true.
I mean, but and not only that, but
that's true.
There's been a lot of cases in boxing where it's kind of like the comedy skits where somebody they'll be running from somebody, and then while they running from that person, they end up running into a wall or something like that.
Right.
And that happens a lot
Great
in boxing.
Analogy, bro.
Yeah, Abner Mares, when he didn't want to fight against Rigo, he got knocked out against Johnny Gonzalez. Who was it? Wama Lopez. He didn't want to fight. I think it was Gamboa he didn't want to fight. Was it Gamboa he didn't want to fight? And then he ended up getting beat by Salido, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's happened a lot in the sport of boxing, so that, it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. Devin Alexander, he does have, he
does have the skill,
a slick and intelligent type style.
I was so disappointed with him against Amir Khan. I thought he was going to do better in that fight.
Yeah, me too.
I was really disappointed in that one. I was at that fight.
Major disappointment.
Mm-hmm. I was at that fight, and it was like Khan. Only thing he did was jab him in a circle all night. I mean, he got that jab in rhythm and pretty much just boxed in a circle that whole fight.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take another call. I'm gonna take another call over here.
Right,
hey, folks. Hey,
thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it, man.
Brother. We good talking to you.
Hello?
Yeah, we got 469. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, what's up, man? It's Xavier calling from Dallas.
Okay, what's going on,
what's
man?
Good?
What's on your mind?
I'm just calling. I'm a big fan of Dante Boxing Nation, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it,
and
man.
And it's kind of weird to me when I see these decals going off on you because, if you look at most of the sports we watch, like boxing, basketball, or football, blacks and Hispanics really dominate the sport. It's not a racist thing, you know what I'm saying?
Not.
But I never seen a pound-for-pound list with nothing but white people on it.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, it's mostly blacks. And they try to fit in these fighters like Kovalev and Lomachenko, and there's no problem with that. Like, Lomachenko ain't got a lot of fights. I don't know why he on the pound-for-pound list. I get it. He beat up Walters.
And Gary Russell.
A couple people, but, I just don't understand how he's on the list.
Well, the first thing, I want to say is going back to what you originally said, when it comes to, once again, you comparing Andre Ward to Sergey Kovalev. Everybody knows that Andre Ward, he's way better, he's way more accomplished, and when we look back at the history books, we can say clearly, without being biased at all, Andre Ward was a better, more accomplished, skilled fighter than Kovalev.
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with being racist or biased or anything like that.
At all.
We can say Manny Pacquiao, we can say Floyd was better than Manny Pacquiao. And the list just goes on and on when it comes to certain fighters, you comparing to. Now, and when it comes to the Lomachenko thing, I mean, me personally, when we talk about how many people he beat or whatever, I'll just leave it at this. I truly believe, and this is just my own personal opinion, if Lomachenko were to beat Rigo, I mean, it could be argued that he's top 2, if not number 1, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. That is a hell of a resume, if
Yeah, I get that.
And the same thing goes for Rigo, but it's even more impressive because Rigo has to move up 2 weight classes. So he's moving up 2 weight classes. Right. But no doubt about it, no matter who wins that fight, either fighter has a hell of a resume.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah, but that's what it comes down to. You cannot sit over here and say, oh, because you're not giving Canelo as much credit as you giving Floyd Mayweather. You can't compare them two.
No.
You can't compare them two. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's what it really comes down to. But
okay.
But yeah,
one more thing, and I'm gonna go. I know you got some more callers. Terrence Crawford, I know he's finna move up to 147, man. He did good at 140, man, but if you look at a couple of his fights, like Gamboa, Lundy, and what's the last fight he had?
You said the African dude, right? Terrence Crawford? You said Terrence Crawford?
Yeah.
What was the African dude's name?
I mean, well, with the Hank Lundy and the Gamboa fight, you can see, like, Terrence Crawford, he gotta get hit on his chin, And I know them dudes was like 140, you know what I'm saying? That's his weight, you know what I'm saying? But in 147...
And Dongo. Thanks, Ricardo. Appreciate it, Ricardo. Yeah,
it was in
Dongo.
Yeah,
in
Dongo.
I just don't see him getting hit on the chin flush like that from like Thurman or Spence.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean,
just like Danny Garcia, you know, he moved from 140 to 140. He was doing great from 140, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as he got to 147, like your power just don't look as strong. Like even when he fought, what's that, Guerrero? It just didn't look as strong, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'll say this, you know, his frame, Bud Crawford's frame is built, and he's been struggling to try not to keep that weight off. I think if he was thicker and he was putting on weight, but he has a wiry frame, man, and I think the way he generates his power, he can bring it up with him. I think he won't be as devastating as he was at 35 and 40, because you got to remember he did come up from 135, and people were wondering, was he going to bring the power up from 135 to 140? Did it easily. I think that he is. There are just certain fighters that, as they move up, they can take that power up with them because of the way they generate the power. It was the same with Roy Jones. Roy Jones coming from, I think Roy started at 154 actually, but didn't spend that much time there. But then at 160, he was still powerful. 167, 168, he was still powerful. Light heavyweight, still powerful. I mean, it's just where, you know, the way that they generate the power, the hand speed, and the actual timing of the punch, I think is what is. But like you said, him catching a punch from a 147-pounder is going to be a big difference between getting hit by. That's a huge difference. That's a huge difference. And
even Sean Porter was saying, you know, Thurman, he hit pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? Garcia didn't want to admit it, but he was saying, "Oh, he hit fast." I mean, bro, he hit hard. Just give it to him.
He hits hard, man. He hits hard. He hits hard.
I know.
To
Garcia's credit, though, he was able to take the punch and keep it moving, and he was the one applying the pressure at
the end of the fight.
Yeah,
he has a pretty good
underrated chin. I think it's Thurman knew he had to fight, bro. I don't think he was just like. I think he could have exchanged with him if Garcia wanted to exchange, but it just don't seem like. It's like Thurman knew he had to fight. It's like no point in trying to knock out Garcia. Like he know he got hard. You know what I'm saying? There's no point. I'm champion.
Well, the testament to that, and Garcia, he's flat-footed, so it was conducive to Thurman's success to actually move around the ring and use his speed advantage and jab him from the outside. And I think he did a good job with that. Also, I think Garcia hurt him to the bottom too.
And
kind of put, you know,
I agree, Kurt.
Yeah, good point. And something else I just want to add. Earlier, my man, the caller, he said, you know, Terrence Crawford sometimes get caught, and you can't get caught against these welterweights. That I do agree with, because I know sometimes it takes Crawford a couple rounds to warm up.
It does.
You know, and sometimes he does get caught with some shots.
Getting caught.
You definitely can't get caught like that against Errol Spence or you know, or somebody like Keith Thurman. But I think outside, me personally, you know, I think outside of Errol Spence, I think Terrence Crawford, you know, he should, you know, be favored to beat everybody else at the welterweight division. That's what I think, man. But you know, but to me,
even Errol.
Well, no, I said outside of Errol. I said outside of Errol.
Yeah, he said outside of Errol.
Yeah. I said outside of Errol. I see, you know, him as possibly being a favorite. I mean, because I would favor him over Keith Thurman right now. I think that, you know, he would win that fight. It wouldn't be a walk in the park, you know. But if I was forced to lean towards someone, you know, I would lean towards him. But when it comes to Errol Spence, that's a different kind of fight right there. You know, so, but once again, you know, it's premature. We need to see how he even looks at welterweight, which I'm sure he'll look sensational, especially going up against Jeff Horn. But Jeff Horn is durable and he's big. And
yeah,
you know,
I thought Jeff Horn was fighting someone else.
Well, he's fighting Cochran. He's fighting Cochran, but after the winner of that fight, which will most likely be Horn, because you know he chose that opponent. But after if he wins that fight, Terrence Crawford will be his mandatory. That's
Oh, okay.
So that's
why it's kind of weird. I don't see how that works. These fights they set up is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, you talking about the Jeff Horn fight or them putting Crawford?
Like for instance, like Errol Spence when he fought Carol Book, he hadn't fought for like 9 months or something. Now he like on another 8 or 9 month stretch. And he, like, why they keep doing them? Like, I don't understand.
It's hard for him to try to get a fight. He just nobody wants to step up. You know, I will say I give that's the reason I give Lamont Peterson a lot of credit. And I tell y'all this too. I think Errol is going to win this fight. I think he'll dominate in it. But you can't underestimate somebody like Lamont Peterson. And I don't mean to try to contradict myself, but what I'm saying is he's a pro. He comes in there game every fight, and Errol can't come in there thinking that he's just finna walk right through him. He's gonna have to actually beat this man. And so I give a lot of credit to Lamont Peterson, man, for having the balls, man, to step in there and say, hey, man, I'll take it. Because I think it was either him or Colosso that were the two that kind of said that they would take that fight. And he went ahead and chose Peterson.
Yeah.
And to your point, Milton, I think Lamont Peterson probably has one of the best resumes actively for any active fighter, because he fought Matisse, he fought, I think, Bradley, I believe. He has Garcia.
Right.
He's fighting Errol Spence.
Right.
He fought Amir Khan.
Exactly.
Looking at it,
yeah, but boxing still needs to fix that. You know, fighting every 8 or 9 months. Like, if he's telling you he wants to be active, that's different. But if you got a fighter that's saying, you know, I need to chill, I got an injury, I understand that. But you got a fighter that's saying, you know, I need to be active, I want to be active. Just like when Walter fought Loma, you know, he said he hadn't fought for a year. You know, I give it to Loma, he won the fight, but this dude hadn't fought for a year.
Yeah.
He still was going to lose, but he hadn't fought for a year, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, let me just say this much. From a business perspective, this just came to mind. When you start making, you know, like $1.5 to $3 million, $4 million per fight, you know, you have to, someone's got to pay for this. The money has to come from somewhere.
Exactly. True.
Yeah. So you're you know, that's when those paydays or the number of times that you fight per year start to slow down. But to me, he should be a bit Errol Spence. He should be fighting at least 2 to 3 times a year. You know, and you make, but it's like, okay, what is he being set up for? Because he has Al Heyman right there. So it's like, okay, Al, what are you doing? So Al is a financial wizard. So it's like, okay, what are you trying to do? Obviously, trying to make a lot of money, because that's what Al is all about. So, but it does have the downside and take away from, hey, no activity, start to get a little rusty here and there, you know. And, I mean, you make a solid point, though.
That is a solid point.
Yeah, and the promoting in boxing is very weird.
But I got to let you
like
go, bro.
When Perez Spence fought Kell, it wasn't no promotion. Like, I didn't see it on ESPN. I woke up and didn't watch First Take. I didn't see it.
You don't need a promoter when you're at a level like that. You almost don't need one.
Yeah, but thank you for your call, bro. I appreciate it, bro.
But thanks a lot. Take it easy and have a good one, okay?
I will.
All right, man.
Take
care, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Take us out, Milt.
Yeah, just want to make sure that we say a big R.I.P. to Mr. Rafael Garcia.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Ferdy Pacheco. You know, I grew up, man, watching, you know, ABC Worldwide Sports, and Dr. Ferdy Pacheco was the fight doctor on there every weekend, man.
Ferdy Pacheco passed?
Yeah, Ferdy Pacheco passed.
Yep, he sure did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Both he and Mr. Rafael. I mean, boxing lost 2 legends last week, man. So shout out to them. And then also one of Golden Boy's young prospects was killed in a car accident. Cesar Diaz Sandoval was killed in an accident. And there was a young fighter who died after a knockout loss down in Venezuela. It escapes my name, and I apologize, everyone. But I just want to say, hey, man, God bless to all the fighters out there, man. Be careful. I don't call any of you bums, because I know what it is to lace them up. I know what you have to go through. So, shout out to all of the fighters out there, man.
And you go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, and then just want to say one other thing. Joseph Parker has already kind of come down on the 60-40 split that he was demanding. He's at 65-35 now. He's gonna keep walking it down. They're gonna probably end up around 70-30. I think he was just trying to avoid the 80-20. But I mean, he also says he'll knock out, you know, both Wilder or AJ, but he's only trying to pursue the AJ fight. I don't know what's up with that. Let me see. And then don't forget, next week, Miguel Cotto has his farewell fight against Saddam Ali. And I believe Jesse Vargas Ray Vargas is on that card. I think Jesse fights later on in the month. Yeah, Orlando Salido, Ramon. That fight is going to be pretty good. And Tevin Farmer gets a title shot coming up next month as well. So it's going to be some good boxing on December 2nd, saying goodbye to Miguel Cotto. But on December 9th, we got Christopher Diaz, Casey Ramos, Ernesto Vasil Lomachenko, Guillermo Rigondeaux fight. Shakur Stevenson is on that card. Bryant Jennings is on that card. Like I said, on HBO, Orlando Salido's fighting, Tevin Farmer's fighting, Francisco Vargas is fighting. And then in London, you got James DeGale, Lee Selby fighting, Anthony Yard is fighting, and Daniel Dubois is all fighting. So the next 2 weeks is going to be packed with some really good fights. And we just going to hope that, hey, man, 2017 has been a fight fan's dream, and it just seems like we're going out with a bang.
Absolutely. And somebody else, I want to say rest in peace to a little man who was one of the strongest kids I ever met, Aiden Brown. I did an interview on him and his mom. He was 2 years old. He was fighting cancer, and yeah, he just unfortunately he lost his life. I want to say rest in peace. You guys can go to his Facebook and just show your support and your condolences. It's Aiden's Army of Angels. Once again, it's just
that's tragic,
real tragic and unfortunate, man. But rest in peace. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up for my man Money Pal the Third. Anything else you got before we wrap it up, Money?
No, just as usual, it's always good talking with you guys.
Likewise,
thanks for bringing all of this out, and always learning something new every time that I'm on the show. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining the panel as always, man. And Kirk, what you got, man?
Thanks again for having me on, and to echo what Money said, it's always a pleasure speaking with you guys. And then to echo what Milton said, rest in peace to all the fighters out there and all the trainers and everyone associated with boxing.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it is, man. All right, guys, we will see you for sure next Sunday. You guys already know what it is. Tune in at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You guys already know what it is. It's the Nation, baby.
Yeah.